Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here, and today I am going to be reviewing Earth's Story, which is a box set featuring the Gunfighters and the Awakening. Now this is a peculiarly named set because, well, literally the only thing linking the two stories is the fact that they're Doctor Who and the fact that they are on Earth. That is pretty much it. I'm sure there are other small links here and there, but there's no real reason that these two should be paired together. Maybe it's just because they didn't think they would sell well as individual stories, decided to put them together. I'm not too sure, but for whatever reason, it's still a box set which I'm going to take a look at. So BBC DVD written up there. First Doctor Who story is the Gunfighters, and the fifth Doctor Who story is the Awakening. Nice picture of Earth, and down there you have the first Doctor must survive the legendary gunfight at the OK Corral, while the fifth Doctor faces an ancient evil threatening an English village in these two classic Doctor Who adventures, and it's PG, 2 discs. And now let's move on to the spine here. Standard stuff really. Back, same as the front, or should that be front, same as the back. Top there, just standard stuff, and bottom there. And also the spines of both the stories. I don't think I can fit them in. There you go. So let's take a look at the individual stories. We can just get them out. The Gunfighters up first, and here we go. BBC DVD, Doctor Who, The Gunfighters, Tombstone, OK Corral, Johnny Ringo there. I believe that's Wyatt, Earp, and that's definitely Doc Holliday there, stepping down in the banner, which is unusual. Usually the banners kind of cut off from this main image, but anyway, that's just a bit of trivia for you. First Doctor there with its nice Stetson hat on there. Is it? No, it's not Stetson, I don't know. Hats aren't my specialty. And then you have one of the, I've forgotten their names now, and you've got another one of those brothers there on a horse. It's really going to annoy me what their names are. Maybe it will say in the synopsis on the back. Clantons, that's it, Clantons. And there's that. And here you have Doctor Who starring William Hartnell, Gunfighters by Donald Cotton. Special features are a commentary, The End of the Line, which was a documentary looking at the third year of Doctor Who with the first Doctor. And that's pretty much from, I'm not sure, it basically starts off with the myth makers and goes right through to the 10th planet. So yeah, and if you liked the second time around on the Crotons DVD, or coming number 5 on the Resurrection of the Daleks special edition, then you will like The End of the Line. It's basically the same thing, except instead of looking over the entire Doctor's era, it just looks over that third year. And yeah, I really do like that. I think it's worth getting this for that documentary alone. And you've also got Tomorrow's Times and some other stuff on there as well. Then on the inside here, your booklet and the DVD, Gunfighters of course, and that's the front, that's the back with 4 parts, chapter points, and in the middle we have all that standard stuff. So then, my thoughts on the Gunfighters, a story which many Doctor Who fans look down upon. Do I look down upon it though? That is the question. No, I don't. I actually quite enjoy this story. Now, admittedly, it's not perfect. There are some rather annoying parts to it, but nevertheless, I don't find it to be horrible. It's just, I reviewed The Dominators a few weeks ago, and I said I found that fun, despite many people finding it boring and look down upon it. You know, I think it's the same with this one. I wouldn't rate it as highly as I would The Dominators. We'll get onto the rating itself in a minute. But, you know, the Gunfighters I do enjoy a lot. It is just a bit of fun for the most part. It is slow at points towards the middle. Like, The first part is great, and the last part is great, but the middle two, parts 2 and 3, do get a bit tedious, I'm afraid. Maybe it would have worked better as a 3-parter, I don't know. But there is kind of like disguised padding in a way, because you have the ballad of the OK Corral music playing in the background. Some people absolutely hate that. It's kind of like the reason that people hate it is just because of that alone. Which is fair enough, to be honest, because it can kind of like colour the whole story for you, because it's a bit overused, I will say. It's an interesting dramatic device in a way, but I feel like that's all it is for the most part, and it could have been used a lot less than it actually was, because there are literally just sequences where it's just panning over the characters doing very little while you have that music going on. And you know, Peter Purvis, that kind of like did colour the story for him as well when he was doing it. He says that having to sing that song really annoyed him, but you know, for a song, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know really, it's just there, and we either hate it or you don't mind it. I think that's the basic rundown of the OK Corral ballad. Character-wise, yeah, there are some good characters in this, you know, all basically plucked from this kind of time period of history. It was an actual event. Obviously the Doctor wasn't there, but you know, it's one of those things that some people have heard of it before, some people will know about it kind of like in detail, and others will not have heard of it before. It's that kind of historical event. But yeah, for the most part it plays out quite well. And the final gunfight itself in part 4, it all builds up to, doesn't really involve the Doctor at all, or Stephen. It's just, well, Dodo gets involved a little bit, but she wouldn't really made a difference for the most part. It is basically just as it was in history, which is, you know, quite nice. I like that they're not really involved in that bit, because it's a gunfight, what would they do? So, yeah, that's quite good, I feel. And overall, the accents, let's talk about the accents quickly. You know, maybe because I'm not from this kind of region in America, you know, I'm not too good with American accents when it comes to pinpointing them, because when you kind of like live in a certain country or whatever, you find it you can distinguish the accents much more, whereas some people group them all together, you know. But for the accents, they're alright from my point of view, and it was made in the UK for a UK audience, so UK audiences at the time of the 1960s wouldn't have been too well aware of the accents too much. They just accept it was an American accent. But yeah, American audiences probably not, and now modern audiences who are exposed to the accent from kind of like different regions much more will be annoyed by it also. So yeah, the accents in the Gunfighters aren't the best, but they don't annoy me that much. They probably will annoy some other people though, and once again another reason why they will dislike the story and colour the whole story for them. So, but nevertheless, I do find the Gunfighters fun for the most part, so I will give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a fair rating for the Gunfighters. But what about The Awakening, the 2-part story of the set? So there's your cover right there. You've got the 5th Doctor, the Malus, Sir George, I believe his name is, and you've got some other characters down there. Church in the background. Peter Davison years 1982 to 84. Spine here, The Awakening, and on the back. Special features, Return to Little Hodcombe is a more standard making of. Yeah, it's quite good. It's only 20 minutes, but that's good. And you've got some other ones down there. The Golden Egg Awards, which is quite a funny little outtake from this, where the horse basically walks through and destroys the gate. That's quite a funny thing, to be honest. So yeah, opening up and having a look on the inside. It's nice to have a different image here, actually, because usually it's just the image from the front put here, but no, they've actually changed it a little bit, and that's very nice. I think the disc on this is a very nice one, and Also, same image on the booklet. It's very nice too. Only 2 parts. It's one of the 3 two-parters from Peter Davis's era, because his era was pretty much made up of 4 parters, a couple of 2-parters, and then the 1 TV movie, which is basically the same length as a 4-parter. Got the inside there. So yeah, what did I think of this story? Let's talk about the length first, because it was only 2 parts. That is fairly unusual for classic Who. You know, it's sort of like the standard for New Who now, the 45-minute format, whereas this is 2 25 minutes, so pretty much 45-minute, give or take. You know, I actually think this works very well. It goes along at quite a pace, but it doesn't really feel like it's rushed at all. Maybe the ending a little bit, but for the most part, it does feel like standard pacing for Doctor Who. But it does whiz along quite fast when you actually think about it, which, you know, I think is quite good, because New Who so often now tends to just rush, and you know, this, while being the same length, actually feels quite a fair bit longer somehow. I'm not sure how, but just kind of like goes at a slightly slower pace, and somehow manages to fit more in. I'm not sure what it is, but maybe they make use of time more effectively or something. I'm not sure, but it just feels like they've made good use of the time for the most part, except for maybe the ending. That's one thing. However, at least on the bright side, it's not the Doctor suddenly waves his sonic screwdriver and everything goes away. He doesn't even have his sonic screwdriver in this point, and I doubt waving the celery will make anything go away. But anyway, character-wise, you have some very good background characters as well. It manages to build up background characters quite well, given the time. I mean, Will down there, I believe, is a very good little character. There are rumours that he was going to be a companion, but I'm not sure whether they were anything more than rumours. And there you got James. He was a fairly good villain, I feel. Standard stuff, really. But yeah, the background characters, they are quite good in this story, I feel, which is surprising given the story's length. And then, you know, the 3 main characters get split up for the most part. They all follow separate strands. Turlough's strand of the story doesn't really get too much to do, but he does get to meet Andrew Verney, Tegan's grandfather, which is, you know, it kind of like follows through on that side of the story, the reason they come there in the first place, and then find out he's missing. And I like the war games aspect of this. It's sort of like, you forget that it is a contemporary piece, because it is set in 1984, which is the same year it went out in, and you know, it's easy to forget that it is actually contemporary, because it's got so many historical elements in it, and you know, I do quite like how that works out, and you know, it's a bit of a period drama, at the same time, obviously, isn't it? It's got loads of sci-fi stuff going on as well, so yeah, that's quite nice, the way it's sort of like merges those 2 things while still being a contemporary Earth story. So yeah, overall, what do I think of The Awakening? I would say a solid 9 out of 10. Almost went 8.5 there, but I feel it is worthy of a 9 out of 10, as it is a nice little watch. It's nothing too much. It's sort of like in the same vein as the Demons, in a way, with their kind of like sleepy English village. You know, I'm just a sucker for those kind of stories. I don't know why, but I just love that kind of like setting. It pulls me in every time, really. So yeah, The Awakening does get a 9 out of 10. Bit of a rushed ending, but overall, fun story. So then, what do I think of the Earth story set overall? Is it worth getting? Gunfighters you may dislike, I will say, but there is a special feature on that DVD which will probably make up for it at the end of the line. And if you liked the second time around from the Protons, or Come In Number 5 from the Resurrection of the Daleks DVDs, then you'll probably like that one, The End of the Line. And for The Awakening, it is just a fun story, so overall if you can find it for a good price, if you can find it for under 10 quid, then Earth Story is this box set for you to get. So yeah, overall Earth Story, fun little set, and I guess 8 out of 10 overall, because okay, Gunfighters 7 and Awakening a 9, so I'll meet right here, we'll say 8 out of 10 for the box set overall. Thank you for watching everyone, and I will see you all next time. Bye everyone.